Hello, everyone. I gladly welcome you to another episode of The Citizen on Dove Television. My name is Mike Adekunle. Yeah, today on this program, we have taken our time and God has really helped us in a way to ensure that we give you every right information you need as concerning your life and your whereabouts within Nigeria and even outside Nigeria. But today, we are looking at something that is very peculiar to us as a Nigerian, as a citizen here in Nigeria. And of course, if you remember, on the 26th of June 2025, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed the 4 tax reform bills into law. These laws include the Nigeria Tax Account, NTA, the Nigeria Tax Administration Account, NTAA, the Nigeria Revenue Service Account, NRSA, and the Joint Revenue Board Account, JRBA. Collectively, these 4 accounts I just mentioned right now, they are referred to as the accounts. So the acts, they are referred to as the acts, pardon me. The acts comprehensively overall the Nigerian tax landscape to drive economic growth, increase revenue generation, improve the business environment, and enhance effective tax administration across the different levels of government. Though this has not just come a very platter of gold, but it has come to meet with a whole lot of mixed understandings, mixed reactions, criticism from different quarters. But today, even from 26th of June, it has been signed and it has become an act. And there have been a whole lot of calmness, but people still scram for more information as regarding this bill. But today on this program, God has helped us and we have deemed it fit to bring to your view the man at the ends of affair as regarding the tax reformation and policy that just been signed. I'm here with a wonderful man who is a professor, but we always like to be referred to as just Mr. or just by his name. TAIWO Oyedele, who is the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, set up by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with a broad mandate to carry out critical reforms bordering on fiscal governance, revenue transformation, and economic growth facilitation. Join me today as I welcome and present to you Professor TAIWO Oyedele. No, okay, maybe I should. You know he's a professor, but let's call him Mr. TAIWO Oyedele, so that he can be very comfortable with us today. Yes. Good to have you with us.
Thank you very much, my brother. It's a pleasure to be on your program.
Thank you so much. Yes. And we really want to let you know that we are very glad to have you with us, and we really appreciate you. This is Dove Television, though, like you said, it's your first time here. Yes. And of course, our wonderful audience will also want to be informed and be carried along as regarding happenings around political terrain of the nation and what is going on around the governance, and especially the aspects you are holding, and that has to do with the fiscal policy and tax reformation. So as we start up, give us a brief background into how all this started. You know, like I asked you behind the camera, how did you get to meet the president, and how were you seen to be fit for this assignment?
Thank you very much. Let me start by commending Dove TV for this program. I was fascinated to know that you take interest in issues around governance, the economy, even politics, and of course fiscal reforms. Because my wife and I, we always have this conversation where I said that a lot of the things that Christians pray about are the things they should do for themselves. Yeah. And that it's like asking God to come and do for you what you can do for yourself. Like understanding the tax law is not God to do that for you. And if government has exempted you from paying tax and you don't get that knowledge, you waste the money because somebody would extort the money from you out of ignorance. So well done for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
So these all started, I would say, a very long time ago, much before this current government. Okay. Part of my upbringing and growing up was the values my parents actually instilled in me and my siblings, which is you have to be honest, be a person of integrity, and work hard and then help others.
Yeah.
So it started with helping others,
Okay.
and then you try to help them in your only two way. To cut the long story short, I have always, from my early career, been interested in helping Nigeria. So sometimes it's just reading new laws, sending, even there were a lot of things I sent to the National Assembly that I'm sure nobody read, because at that time nobody knew me.
Before now.
Before now. I'll write to the newspaper and they will not publish it because nobody wants to read what I wrote because I wasn't known. But I kept doing those things. And as I grew in my career, I had platforms that people wanted to listen to. Like I set up a blog in 2011, a long time ago when blogs were not popular.
Yeah.
I started writing into newspapers. I'll do Business Day, Guardian, every other week. You know, I'll find a way to talk to people in small seminars. So those efforts added up. Somebody in one ministry of finance will meet me somewhere and say, oh, by the way, we have something we're working on. Can you share your thoughts? So those things grew up to a point where I started getting called by government to join committees.
Okay.
So even under the previous administration, there was a time I wrote, for example, to President Jonathan.
Okay.
And I also wrote to the finance minister at the time, Okonjo-Iweala.
Yeah.
And Okonjo-Iweala actually responded, you know,
Okay.
to some of my observations and what government can do to address the issues, from fuel subsidy to tax reform. It was something I just did naturally for a long time. So in the last administration, before the current one, so I had the opportunity to be invited to work on Nigeria tax policy. And then I recommended, as part of the work, that government should set up an implementation committee. Again, because we always have good policies, we don't implement. And luckily, the government agreed. So when they set up the implementation committee, they invited me to join. So that was what led to some of the finance acts that we did under the last administration, but it was not sufficient. And at some point, some of the things were disjointed. So one amendment is pulling in this direction, the other one is pulling in the other direction. A lot of vested interests came in with objectives other than the interests of the country. So, and I was always the person that would be on TV to criticize government, to also commend them, they do the right thing. But I was always very constructive. I believe that every Nigerian should complain, they should criticize government, but they should do it constructively.
That is key.
With the intention of building the country up. Because if you tear your country apart, so what else do you get from it? So it's that visibility that led to the team of Mr. President. This was even while they were preparing for the elections, while they were doing manifestos. Many of the major political parties reached out to me. And I said, well, I don't want to have anything to do with politicians, but I will give you my thoughts to build your manifesto. So I shared that with them. One thing led to another. After they won, they still came back, and we had some conversation, and they said that, you know, we'd like you to work with us. And I said, well, if you're serious, I'll work with you, but let's agree how we work together. So that was how we landed at one area where I could be of help is tax and fiscal reforms. Because of my experience, both locally and internationally. And so the president was fully on board about it. He approved, you know, the terms of reference, and almost gave us a blank check to say, just do whatever you have to do, but deliver these results. So at that point, I knew that if I did not accept the responsibility, I'll lose the moral right to complain. Because it's easy to complain. Just go on Twitter and complain. A lot of people will like your comment, but it won't solve any problem. So that was how I decided to resign from my work and to take on this job. And, you know, fast forward 2 years after, it's been worth every minute of it. It's been difficult, but the outcome has been worthwhile. It's something that any citizen will want to do for their country, to know that you contributed in your own little way.
That's very good, and we must say that we are very proud of you. And of course, this is one of the committee or kind of an agenda that the government will set up and see through from the beginning to where it stands today, that we can all say, oh, you have done well. Now, I'd like you to comment on the person of the president to have ensured that this was seen through without hitch to the point that it was signed as a bill?
Yeah, no, that's a very important point. I think I don't know of any other president in my adult life in Nigeria that would have done what this president has done. He puts his entire political capital behind it, even when it became risky for him in terms of his, political aspirations like second term, because at a point, he became everything. It became political, it became a religious matter, it became regional. People were saying inheritance tax, for example, is against Islamic principles. They've brought it in to, be against the North. Okay. The VAT sharing formula was very controversial amongst the governors. There were all manners of issues. Yeah. And all of those issues were well intended. Okay. We had nothing in mind about one region against the other. In fact, the composition of the committee was from all over Nigeria. There's no way we could have sat down to say, let's do something against the Muslim or against the North. There was nothing like that. But to be honest, also because of his leadership as the president, he just said to us, don't worry, I know that reforms are hard. In fact, he said that he knows that many of the people that are against it have not read it, but that we should focus on what we are trying to do. And he put his, the power of the office, like when he said to the governors that he was not negotiating the need for the reform. Okay. He can negotiate the content of the reform. That was very instructive. Even when the National Economic Council said he should withdraw the bills, he said, no, I'm not withdrawing the bills. If you have any issues, let's talk about those issues. You can even go to the National Assembly and talk about those issues. That level of leadership is not something that is common in Nigeria or even in Africa. Without that, this would have been impossible.
Well, as a president, for him to have that strong-headed, in a way, in quotes, to say, I want to see this thing done at my time. Are you thinking, or do you feel there is something behind it for him? Probably there is something for him to gain.
No, no, it's nothing for him to gain. It's, in fact, if I want to say, I would say there's a lot for him personally to lose.
Oh, really?
In fact, even the federal government, some of the things we did, we went to him to say, can you please give some of your revenue as the federal government to the states? And he agreed. VAT, for example, 1/3 of the revenue of the government from VAT has now been given to the states. In fact, I remember that in a subsequent meeting when I went to him, before we started talking, and I mentioned local government, he said, I hope you're not asking me to... he used one language, to give more. So I said, Your Excellency, I'm not asking you to give more. So, and also for him, personally and his political aspiration, people were blaming all the things they didn't like about the bill on him. And he took all of that. So there was no personal benefit for him. But because of his experience, he's a finance person, he's an accountant. Okay. He did some of those similar reforms in Lagos on a smaller scale. Okay. So he knew that these reforms are necessary for this country to move forward. He knew that without the reforms, the country will be held back. He knew that we're taxing the poorest people. He knew that we're taxing seed, and he used those words, that we should stop taxing seed. We should wait for the fruit and share in the fruit. Yeah. So those were instructive. In fact, on day one, when it was being inaugurated, if you recall, he called out the issue of multiplicity of taxes on day one. Yeah. So as a leader, if you know there's a problem, it's like a parent. If there's fire on the roof, it doesn't matter how everybody in the house says you shouldn't go there. Yeah. You know you have to go there and deal with it. It may be that some people want to watch a program they love on TV. I say, well, we need to stop this program so we can put out the fire. They may not be happy that you stop them from watching their TV program, right? But for you, you are seeing the bigger picture of something more critical and more fundamental. Yeah. I think that was what was driving him. He provided that support and leadership for us, and we're here today, and we're grateful for that leadership.
All right, let's speak to the act right now. We are seeing here what is called Nigeria Tax Act, the Nigeria Tax Administration Act, the Nigeria Revenue Service Act, and the Joint Revenue Board Act. So can you speak to the intricacies and the ups and downs around these acts that we just read out. What does it mean to a layman?
Yeah, so before these new laws were enacted, like you said, in June,
Yeah.
June 26, we had so many laws dealing with different things.
Okay.
You have a separate law on personal income tax. That's how much tax you pay as an individual.
Okay.
You have another one on capital gains. If you sell an asset and you make a gain, how much do you pay? You have a separate law on value-added tax. You have one on companies' income tax. You have another one on petroleum profit tax, another one on education tax, and I can keep going on.
Different laws on each
Different
of these
laws,
aspects
stamp
of
duties, different laws. There are so many.
Okay.
Many of them are so old, they are older than Nigeria's independence.
Wow.
Like there's a 1901 ordinance that turned to a 1939 one on stamp duties, and we're still using it in 2024, 2025. So we inherited them in a world that was vastly different at that time than the world we live in today. So the laws were not working anymore. They were complex, they were ambiguous, and they were not in line with our modern realities.
Okay.
So what we did was to look at all those laws, and we said, is there anyone that is useless that we should no longer, deal with, or provisions? We removed those. Is there anything left that is still useful? We put them together. Is there something that is missing that we should add? We added and wrote brand new laws and repealed all those old ones. And those brand new laws that we wrote, we consolidated into one law, and we called it the Nigerian Tax Act. Okay. So this Nigerian Tax Act tells you the taxes you should pay, the rate of the tax you should pay, on what items should you pay the tax. So it tells you taxes you should pay. You don't need 12 laws or 10 laws, you need one to find out.
To work on just
on
tax
the taxes you need to pay, what taxes you need to pay. Then the second one is the Nigeria Tax Administration Acts, NTA. This is the one that tells you about how we administer those taxes. Like, who should you pay the tax to? The one you pay to Nigeria Revenue Service, the one to pay to Lagos State Internal Revenue Service or local government. That is the administration. Then there's the one we call the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act. This is the act that says we have to come together as a country and harmonize how we do things. Let's not create confusion in Zamfara or Ekiti or Lagos or Kano. So all the tax authorities in Nigeria have been established to form an association or a group called Joint Revenue Board. That Joint Revenue Board will ensure that there's consistency in how we apply the rules across Nigeria. It would also ensure that there's coordination, exchange of information. In fact, today someone still told me, you work and live in Lagos, you pay your tax and you have tax clearance certificates, but maybe your home state is Ogun State or Kwara State, and you want to go and buy land. I say you must still come and pay tax there to collect tax clearance certificates. And that is against the law. But Kwara will say, I don't know whether you pay tax in Lagos State, but under this arrangement, there will be collaboration and you know what everybody is doing in different places. It is also that law, Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act, that will give us the tax ombuds. The tax ombud is the advocate for taxpayers that mostly cannot defend themselves. So this is the defender of the taxpayer who cannot defend themselves across Nigeria. It's also the same law that establishes the tax appeal tribunal. If you explore all avenues and you don't think you are getting justice, you can approach that tribunal to address your matter. So that is the one on Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act. And the last one is the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act. This law is the one that repeals the law establishing the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FRS, and establishes a Nigeria Revenue Service with a broader mandate to collect all the taxes and levies due to the Federation, all the taxes and levies due to the federal government, and to collaborate with the sub-national state and local governments, even on the taxes that are due to the state and local governments.
They are still the one to collect for them.
No, they may collect for them.
Okay.
So what we have there is there's now provision to allow tax authorities to delegate collection function to themselves.
Okay.
So at the center, the Nigerian Revenue Service can delegate to Lagos State Internal Revenue Service and say, help me collect this tax I'm supposed to collect in Lagos. Ekiti State Internal Revenue Service or Ogun State can say, federal government, help me collect this tax if you find these people in your territory or anywhere.
Okay.
So that handshake and working together has now been firmly established.
Okay.
And the Nigerian Revenue Service will have the big role of collecting federation taxes, federal government, and any other one that is delegated to them.
Okay.
That is, in a nutshell, the summary of the 4 tax laws.
All right. So we are due for a break, but then before we go on the break, I would just want you to speak to. I've been seeing you in pictures with the chairperson, Federal Inland Revenue Service, all around and all that. So, and within me, I always feel, okay, what is the relationship between both of you? Does he like what your team is doing? Will he agree with what your team is doing? Have you, in a way, stripped his authority? I'm not talking as a person now, but as a board now of Federal
Inland. Institution.
So, yes, have you stripped off their power or their level at which they can relate their work to another? Would you like to speak to that?
Yes. So that's talking about Dr. Zach Adedeji.
Yes.
He's my very good friend. In fact, I call him my brother.
Okay.
He's one of the reasons why we have these reforms. At the time that my committee was inaugurated, he was the special advisor to the president on revenue matters.
Okay.
So he was actually the interface between what we're doing and Mr. President.
Okay.
He was fully supportive, and when he became the head of the FRS, 100% support. In fact, I have to say to you that that is the agency that is most supportive of our reforms. Wow. They've set up a whole department to implement our reforms since like 2 or 3 months ago.
Wow.
So once we advise them today, tomorrow they are implementing it. So yeah, it's. I think I'll use the opportunity to appreciate him personally, and also to appreciate the FRS as an institution, because if we do these reforms and the agencies don't implement, we don't get the results.
Yeah.
But they are on board 100%.
Thank you so much. There's a whole lot to talk about, and I'm praying time will permit us. But then we need to quickly go on this very short break. We shall be back just after a few clips. Please stay with us. Welcome to a platform for a robust, inspiring, and engaging conversation in the world of politics and governance, business, education, and more, and concerning you as a citizen and your civic responsibilities. Watch The Citizen on Dove Television at 1 p.m. every Tuesday, West African time, and a repeat broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. The Citizen, we are all in this together. You're welcome back. It is still The Citizen on Dove Television. And we'll be looking at the new bills around tax reform and fiscal policy of the government. And Mr. TAIWO Oyedele is still here with us doing justice to all our questions. And I want to believe also that you watching us might be having 1 or 2 questions that we might not be able to have preempted your mind to ask him. But should you have any question or contribution, just send to our contact you see on the TV screen right now. The Lord bless you as you do that in Jesus' name. And I have wonderful ladies and young guys here in the studios who also will be asking questions when that time comes. So I really want to appreciate you. Thank you for being here with me in the studio to engage this together. Thank you so much. All right, we appreciate you, sir. Mr. TAIWO, thank you for your time. So let's go into it a little deeper. So there have been a whole lot of fears. Let me just ask you, what do you think are the fears and minds in the minds of people around this reform that you feel your team can quickly, tame or correct one way or the other?
Yeah.
Before we start bringing
the biggest one is a lot of, maybe not a lot, I'll say some misunderstandings.
Okay.
Some of those were a few people, for whatever reasons, who decided to misinterpret things because they are not happy about the reforms.
There are still some people who are not happy.
Of course, there are people that will not be happy about the reforms. Wow. It doesn't matter what you do, because we were resetting the status quo.
Okay.
if the status quo was benefiting you, you may not really jump at the
Anything
reform.
new.
Yeah, so like, stopping a lot of agencies from collecting taxes. Some of the people heading those agencies are not happy.
Okay.
Even though they know this is the right thing for the country, but maybe it doesn't benefit them personally. So we have those misunderstandings. In fact, there was a time last year when, an editor said to us that they were being paid to write against the reform.
Wow.
Yeah, so they paid many editors to write, and this person said their conscience would not allow them to write against what we're doing. People wrote against me personally, wrote against the reform. There's
some
a lot
people
of
collected money to write some things against you,
and
even as a
they
person.
also use influencers on social media. They just take even what I haven't said, they'll make it up, put my picture there, and then people start abusing me. And so those things happen, and we're not bothered. So those misrepresentations and misinterpretations are the things we're trying to clarify now. Now that we have a law, people are more willing to listen to us because we don't have any hidden agenda. And the other bit is the stakeholder management still. So there are loads of people who don't understand what we're trying to do. And we also have to be honest, the level of trust between government and the people is very low. So if I trust you, I'm likely to hear what you're saying. If I don't trust you, I'll be hearing what I think you're saying. And it's a world of difference. So that low level of trust is the reason why we're putting more effort. Very soon, people will see a lot of our programs around implementation, awareness, sensitization, education. We're going to do a lot of that. We do it in different languages, in a way that people can relate to. And we think that will make a lot of progress as a country.
All right. So you have spoken around the issue that, the issue of, I'm sorry to use the word touts, call them touts right now, collecting revenues, even for local government. If you drive around the streets and some major trunk C road and trunk B roads now, you see them blocking roads. You get what I'm trying to say now? Collecting for local government. Are we still going to continue with that? And, okay, I'd like you to answer to that. Who are those that will be administering our tax or taxes, as the case may be, around, even by the time this law becomes, operational?
Yeah. So that's an important question you have asked. So we have taxes that should be collected by local government. We have the ones to collect by state and the one by federal government. So the ones to be collected by the federal government have been harmonized. The ones to collect by the states are being harmonized. Some of them are in the process. The ones by local governments have not been harmonized yet because these taxes are in the Constitution. For example, the Constitution says that local government should collect radio tax, TV tax, produce tax, bicycle tax, wheelbarrow tax. As we speak today, it's inside the Constitution like that. It's unfortunate that we put something like that in our Constitution, and we have to fix it. So we've sent proposals to the National Assembly to amend the Constitution, and you'll be aware they're already going around. But amending the Constitution is a longer process. In the meantime, what we're doing is discussing with local government and states to say that if you have the power to collect a tax, we believe you have the power not to collect it. If you decide not to collect money on people moving around on the streets, or to collect radio, nobody will take you to court and say, you have not collected my radio tax, right? So, and we are getting the support from them. In the meantime, we have a draft law that would make it illegal to pay or collect any taxes in cash. It will make it illegal for you to do a roadblock in any form or shape to collect taxes. And we want to harmonize all the taxes so that at the local government level, people pay only one tax. And they pay it on their phone or if they have bank account or bank card or transfer. When you get to this level, what you do is you remove the incentive for the person who stands on the road
Definitely.
Because I can tell you 90% of that amount
Definitely.
is not reported to government.
And as a matter of
Yes.
fact now, governments, or let's say those elected officials, they do that to compensate those who
Yes,
work for them.
yes.
Oh,
That's
you
part
work
of the problem.
You work for me in my election, so I will put you in charge of Marua.
Yes,
I will put you in charge of Okada.
Yes.
I'll put you in charge of those small businesses. Go and be collecting taxes for them.
Absolutely. So we've seen that problem, and it's real. So we can't deceive ourselves. This is why we came up with a practical approach that says we're going to identify all the actors, from the young man that you see on the road, to the person who sent them to be there, to the people who benefit from that chaotic way of collecting taxes, are all the people that we want to address. As much as possible, we want to bring them on board in the new system, to do it in a civil manner that benefits society. For example, instead of the person standing on the road with stick, you know, they actually harass people physically.
You are calling it stick. In fact, cane.
Cane,
they practically cane people. Yes.
And then sometimes they remove your wares, you know, or they remove side mirror, and then you start chasing them. This is 2025, and this is the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not Banana Republic, not 1904. We have moved on. I don't know, even smaller countries, I don't see any country where they do those rudimentary, very annoying, unorthodox way of collecting taxes. We are better than that, honestly, as a people. So we are trying to incorporate everyone to see that this is not working, and it cannot work, and it should not work. We need a new way of life that is decent, that shows the dignity of human being. And there are a lot of people you are collecting those taxes from, by the way, should not be paying taxes because they're just hustling to survive. One of the stories I read that, you know, broke my heart. When I was still at PwC, we had this program to reward journalists for writing good stories, and we had different categories. So I always read hundreds of articles,
different stories,
of journalists to be able to select winners. And I read one story one day that broke my heart, and it was an elderly woman who was a tailor, who had a machine that she would carry on her shoulder, you know, the one that you put the head on the... Yes. And then she would trek to somewhere around nearby, put down the machine, and hope that people come and patch cloths. You know, this is not like they make thousands, so this is 200, 150 naira. Maybe at the end of the day, she will make 500, 600 naira. She got there in the morning, and the first thing is, these guys showed up, and they said they were from local government, and they wanted to collect tax from her. And they wanted her to pay 400 naira. And the woman said, even 1 naira I do not have. I trekked to come here. Can you please come back in the evening? Maybe I would have sold.
Made some sales.
And they refused and took the head of the machine, and they were walking away, and she was crying and following them. And it broke my heart because on one hand, this is someone that the country should support. You know, this in other countries, you get money to feed, to accommodate yourself. We could not support the woman.
And
yet, we want to extract from her under those conditions. So these are the issues we are trying to address. It will be a long journey, but we have started, and we will sustain that journey.
And honestly, for your team and yourself to have gone through this journey, arriving at where we are right now, I believe there is hope, personally. I believe. So let me bring in some of those who are here with us in the studio. So, Chidera, let's start from you.
So my question is, what are the penalties for non-compliance with the Nigeria Tax Act?
All right.
An example, I have this example. These people on the road always stopping bus to collect money. Is either they remove the rubber in their vehicle or one thing or the other.
Mirror,
I want to know, is that part of paying tax?
We should expect.
Yeah, good question. So we have, you know, we identify different categories of, in quotes, tax. So there are non-state actors, these people who are not employed by government, who stand on the road to collect illegal taxes. And there are those who are collecting taxes for the government in an illegal way. So even though the tax they are collecting is legal, they are collecting it in an illegal way. All of that are the things we are trying to address. First, we think that if we remove the requirement to pay taxes in cash, and if we consolidate all the taxes into one.
Okay.
Then the tout or non-state actor who is hiding under the pretense of I'm collecting tax, we have no business to be there because they then become someone who is stealing from the people, extorting from the people, and they can be arrested.
Okay.
In fact, the law we're working on is such that you pay a fine of up to 5 million naira
Okay.
and go to jail for a minimum of 3 years, either of the two or both, on first offense. If you do it the second time, you will lose the option of a fine and you must go to jail. So the answer is that there are consequences for not complying with the new laws that we would implement. But before we do that, we want to sensitize everybody and get them on board. If you get people to understand what you're doing and to agree with you, you don't need to apply force. Force for us is the last resort, which we will use when it becomes necessary.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So I've got a question here from Mr. Chris Onwachuku. Individuals earning up to 1 million naira, say, by the current rates of exchange, that's about $650 annually, and receiving a 200,000 naira rent or paying now, reducing taxable income to 800,000, expecting them to still pay income tax. So how do you now? Okay, someone who is earning about $1 million naira annually, paying 200,000 naira as a rent, left with 800,000 naira. You still expect such a person to pay tax. So what is this reform talking about an individual like this?
Yeah, so there's a bit of misunderstanding from that question, which I can tell from the person that asked, but grateful that they asked the question because it gives me the opportunity to clarify it.
Okay.
So what we did was to categorize Nigerians into 3 groups.
All right.
Group 1 are the people who are essentially lowest income earners. Many of them live in poverty even though they're working. So that group of people, we have exempted them from paying income tax. So no PAYE, they should just manage the little money they're earning.
So how do you define the low income earners?
Yes, I'll come to that in a moment.
Okay.
So that is category 1. Category 2 are the people we call the middle class. These are the people who earn enough to meet their basic needs and have a little left to go on vacation, to go and watch a movie and buy entertainment and stuff like that.
Wow.
And then the third category are the high net worth, high income earners. These are the people who have the money to buy brand new cars. They can even afford the private jets. They can build new houses. It turns out, based on our data, and that's the question you asked, we looked at the data for Nigeria, and we saw that the average size of a household, of a family, is 5 people. In the 5 people in a family, on the average, 2 of them are working. So we had to look at what income must 2 people earn to cater for 5 people so they don't fall below poverty line. That was the information that led us to around 120,000 naira per person. So if you earn about 120,000 naira a month, you would not pay any tax anymore. So the calculation of 1,200,000 for rent that the person referred to in this question is a misunderstanding of how the system works. There's what we call taxable income. So when you are paid your salary, the gross salary, there are some reliefs, deductions. For example, you do pension contribution, that is deducted from it. You do National Housing Fund, is deducted. When all those deductions have been done, what is left is called taxable. That's not your gross income, it's your taxable income. That one, the first 800,000 naira is 0%. Then if you are someone who is paying rent, up to 20% or 500,000, whichever is higher, of your income, is also not taxed at all. That brings the taxable amount to 1.3 million. If you now add the deductions of pension, National Housing Fund to it, you may find that somebody that is even in like 1.6 million a year is not paying tax. So I can tell you categorically that at least from 120, it may even be more, depending on your deductions, we not pay tax anymore. Unfortunately, while that amount is small, it is more than 1/3 of all the workers in Nigeria, private and public sector combined. So there's poverty in the land. Now, above that level, up to about 2 million naira a month is where we have our middle class. This middle class, we have reduced their taxes. They will find out that their PAYE on a monthly basis will reduce. If you now earn more than 2 million a month, you see marginal increases. Somebody that earns 3 million a month might see an increase of 2,000 naira, 3,000. It's not even a lot of increases. You begin to see high increases if you are earning like 100 million a year, 300 million. And the people that are earning those amounts are 0.01%. They are very few. But the data we have suggests to us that around the world, the top 2 to 3% should pay the bulk of the taxes. That is what we have done now. So we believe that while the exemption of poorest people, reduction for middle class will not solve all the problems, it will indeed be a major relief for them from January next year.
Okay. So my question follow-up to that will now be, okay, how do you monitor through? Are there mechanisms in place to ensure that, okay, this person is earning so much and he has to pay so much? This person is earning this low and is exempted. So how do you monitor this line?
Yes, so what we're doing is first to educate the people who take care of those accounting. So if you work in a company, there will be a payroll manager or an accountant. So we're training them. We'll continue with that. We're going to be working with the professional bodies, CITN, ICANN, ANAN, MBA, to train those people so that the people who do the calculations are aware that they should no longer take tax away from you. The second layer is to
and
just...
there won't be any form of manipulation from the owner of the company. Because an accountant under a company right now is answerable to the CEO.
Yes. So we expect that those manipulations will be limited, because why would you want to manipulate your staff for government? And if you manipulate the system so that you can keep it for yourself, you face severe consequences, including jail terms. And we're not joking. So the second layer of education is the general people, the general population. So as an employee, even if I'm not even an accountant, as an employee, if I know that government says, if my monthly salary is 120,000, I should not pay tax, and they pay me, and my salary is 100,000, and they pay me and deducted PAYE, I'll say, government said I should not pay tax. Is there something you people are not explaining to us? So those people can call the tax ombudsman. If they first, we will encourage them to first ask their questions from the company, because they may not be aware. If the company is not cooperating or they seem to be difficult, call the ombudsman. You don't need to say your name. We'll go and investigate, and there will be consequences for it. So we think that if we work together as a people, these reforms will work.
All right. So let me go back to the audience. Yes, your name, please.
My name is David.
David, okay. Ask your question, David.
So I have two questions. The first one is, with the act, how will it help to make some rich people to be taxed appropriately?
Okay, that's one.
Then the second one is, with the new act, how will it cushion the effects of inflation in the country on citizens?
Yeah, God bless you, my dear. Yes, yes. Now, there is this fear right now that, oh, this tax reform is going to make people more poor. That, okay, like there's this notion we've been hearing that our president, it's a man after money. He just want to rake as many money as possible into the covers of the government. So he really wants to come down heavily on those who are high earners, as you put it. So how do you tax them and how do you monitor them? And it says something about, what's that second thing?
So it's inflation.
The inflation, yes. In June, the inflation rate was determined to be around 22.22 in June. Before June, it was 22.97. So the inflation rate, how will this affect the inflation rate? Hunger in the land and all that. So I would like you to just speak generally to all this and see how we start wrapping up.
Yes, so thank you for those questions. The first one is on how do you make the rich pay more? So if you earn more anywhere in the world, you should pay more than the poorest person. You cannot ask the person that is earning 50,000 naira a month to pay the same rate of tax as the person that is earning 1 billion a year. You have a society that will break down, and there will be inequality and there will be crisis. So everywhere in the world, you pay the more you earn. So that's what we've designed in Nigeria. But the good news is even that our highest rates is 25%. If you go to South Africa or Kenya, you are 35 or 40. You go to advanced countries, you are over 40%. So relatively, our rate, our highest rate, is one of the smallest in the world. So that is good news.
Okay.
Number two is, these rich people, even if they don't tell us what they earn, we'll find out because they can't hide. You have bank accounts, we have access to your bank account.
Okay.
You have investment account, pension account, we have access to it. You buy cars, private jets, we have access to it. You travel abroad, we have access to it because you can't travel abroad without government knowing, right? You need to get your passport, you need to buy tickets. Yes. If you build a house and you don't tell us, you connect to electricity. When you go to the electricity company to connect, that's data for us. So we're going to use that intelligence to know who is poor so we can exempt them and who is rich so that they can pay their taxes. If they refuse to pay the tax, we'll take the money from their account by law. That is in the law already. We call it substitution. We can freeze your account and take money from it. So they will pay if they are rich. We want to be fair to everyone, but they also have to respect the system. Now, how do we address inflation? We looked at what are the drivers of inflation in Nigeria. And number one driver is food inflation.
Yeah.
So Nigerians majorly consume food, education, healthcare, accommodation, and transportation. These 5 items account for 82% of where Nigerians spend their money. If you go down the society ladder, they spend all their income on those 5 items because they're just trying to survive. What we have done is to remove the taxes on those items.
Okay.
Even bread, for example, we turn into 0 rates, which means when you sell bread, don't charge tax. Even if you pay tax in producing bread, like you have a bakery, you have a vehicle that used to go and deliver bread, you buy airtime to use on the phone to call customers, and you pay VAT, government will give you the VAT back. So that bread can become more affordable. One of our appeal is that people who will benefit from these tax reductions should please pass it on to their customers so they don't keep all of it to themselves.
Because they will tell you all manner of stories.
Yeah, that's the problem
this is
sometimes.
Expensive, that is expensive.
Yes.
For example, right now, there was a time we were buying it for 1,000 naira. At the time, we were buying it for 900 naira.
They've not reduced the transport fare.
And all through, the transport fare has not reduced.
It has not reduced.
These items and commodities we are talking about has not reduced.
Yes.
And they were all increased in price because of the increment in the pump price.
So that's a problem that will be solved in 2 ways.
Okay.
One of it is through the legal framework we've created, alerting the ombudsman if he can give data. And this is why we're also coming out with a whistleblowing framework where people can just anonymously report things that are not working. If as a society we agree that will report bad behavior, you know, there's nothing you can do and hide it from everybody on earth. There'll be someone who knows about it, maybe the junior staff, maybe your driver. Then the second aspect of it is we think the market in the medium to long term will correct. When you make excessive profits and you keep it to yourself, that business becomes very attractive and more people want to do it. And then they will increase the supply more than the demand and price will moderate. So the combination of all these should help us to bring down prices of foods and other goods and services, including education. Education should come down because if you run a school, there's no tax on it. And any tax you incur in building the school, in buying equipment, materials, you get the money back from government.
Wow.
Yes.
What about pharmaceuticals?
Same thing with pharmaceuticals, the same way.
Wow.
0 VAT, and you get all the money back from anything to do pharmaceutical that you are doing. Any VAT you yourself spent, including running the AC in your office, right? So anything, you buy AC, you buy laptop, you get the VAT back. So our expectation is, because of these reforms, prices of pharmaceutical products, food, education, accommodation, and transport will come down.
Oh, wow. Wow. We are run out of time now. We don't have enough time. Do we still have anyone here with any question? Okay. Let me take one person now because of time. Please, one question quickly in about 1 minute.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, please, with the new tax law, sorry, sir. Sir, please, with the new tax law, how does the revenue collection and reduce tax burden?
Okay, the revenue collection and reduction in tax burden. Okay.
So what we've done is to look at different categories of taxpayers. Some of them are big companies, some of them are small companies, individuals, some of them are low-income earners, some of them are medium, some of them are high net worth. We've looked at the tax burden of each of these categories, and we've reduced them in different ways. Like some of the example I gave you now are to reduce the burden on companies. Some of them are to reduce the burden on individuals. Some of them are to reduce the burden on even households in terms of what they consume. So one thing we promise is that with the implementation of the reform, even when you see something goes up in the reform, more are coming down, so that overall, the tax burden, even for the richest people, their tax burden will come down.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. While we conclude, let me quickly go personal with you right now. So far, how was the journey for you from the inception to where we are right now? Are you at a place of comfort right now, like you are relieved now of all manner of tantrums thrown at you and all that? So are you at peace now?
Yeah, there was not a time when I was worried in terms of personally what those meant, whether people were abusing me or attacking me. There, for every one person who was attacking me, there were a million people praying for me. So I was never bothered. I was only concerned at some point whether those tantrums, misrepresentation, and sensationalization was going to come in the way of the reforms, such that the bills never get passed into law. That was what got into me. I didn't even realize how bad it was until I went to my doctor beginning of the year, and my blood pressure has gone up significantly. I'm a very calm person. I don't worry too much in life. So, and the only reason was because of that. I wake up every day worried about what the headline will be today, that somebody has cooked up. But now the laws have been signed. Whatever anybody writes, I do not care, because the laws have been signed. So to that extent, it's a relief. And there's also a sense of fulfillment and the feeling that there's hope in Nigeria, that anything and everything is possible.
I wanted to ask you that. You are closer to them up there, and you are in the ends of affairs around this now. Do you want to tell us? I'd like you to look into the camera and say that, oh, for our generation, I think there is still hope for Nigeria.
100%. There's hope for Nigeria. There's hope for our generation. There's hope for generation unborn. If all of us, individually and collectively, can just do our parts. Don't join the team of people who are pulling down and tearing apart our country. You are right as a citizen to complain and criticize government, but do it with patriotism. Do it constructively, and when you have the opportunity in your own little space, do the right thing. Don't be part of the problem, be a part of the solution. There is hope for Nigeria in our lifetime. Nigeria will be great. Yes.
Wow. Mr. TAIWO Oyedele, I want to say a very, very big thank you to you. And you know, we've not exhausted all we need to talk about. I can imagine. Please, so we want to appeal to you, and I'm making this appeal now openly. So please, we will still call you again.
I'll try my best.
Please do. I know you are a very busy person.
Yes,
but please just help us out. Our people need to hear more, and they need to be educated, at least majorly around business, finance, and all that, entrepreneurship and all. So we'll still let you know, and we'll call you over. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'd like you to please send our regards to your wife, who has always been praying. And of course, we need to also tell you and let you know that VGs, prayers at night, I think they work. Like
my wife believes in that.
I
think prayers work any time of the day. My wife thinks it works better at night.
At night,
so.
You know, they are women, so I think they know.
I'm very grateful to her. Very
God.
supportive.
Thank God for her life. Thank God.
Thank
you so much. Really appreciate you. All right, I want to thank you, my audience. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you. God bless you. To all of you who had viewed us today, we want to say thank you for being there, with us. And like I said earlier, if you have any question around the subject we have looked at today, please do well to reach out to us through our contact you see on your TV screen right now. The Lord bless you in the name of Jesus. My name is Mike Adekunle. See you again next time, and have a wonderful day.